Hello, everybody, and welcome to SpeedgolfHER Takes the Mic. We've got a really exciting guest on here today. Please welcome Garrett Holt, who's a PGA professional at Horton Smith Golf Course, which I've had the pleasure of playing many times because Garrett runs the Missouri State Speedgolf Championship, which is one of my favorites to attend. And also hosted a U.S. Open a few years ago, which is pretty cool as well. Yep. So welcome to the show, Garrett.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm excited to be on this, and I love all the stuff that you're putting out there. I'm happy to be one of the first few guests on your show, and a longtime listener, first-time caller. I listened to your first episode.
I appreciate that. You and my mom, maybe.
Well, actually, my mom listened to it before me. I knew that came out, and because I follow you on social media, and my mom texted me and she's like, "I already listened to it. You should listen to it." So,
oh, that's very nice.
All
right,
there's at least a couple of moms. There's lots of
your
moms
mom,
out there.
my mom, and you. That's good.
The #1 podcast of moms.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, awesome. Well, I mean, speaking of the Missouri Speed Golf Open, it was a pretty exciting Speed Golf Open this year, mainly for an upstate New Yorker because of the weather.
Yeah, it was I'm trying to remember what it was like. I mean, we did a unique time for us. We did Memorial Day weekend, the end of May, trying to fit it in with the plans for the US tour and getting all these events done before the fall so people could qualify and get prepared for Worlds, which is coming up.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. And we had that big tornado watch. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
For me, that was like,
I do remember. Yeah. Day
at the
2.
Hotel, I walked into the hotel and they had tornado shelter this way. I'm like, oh boy, what are we getting ourselves into?
Yeah. That day too. The storms, tornado, lots of rain on the golf course, figuring out when the lightning and thunder will be clear. Luckily, I mean, that's the tricky part about spring. In May, around this area, is you get those pop-up storms, and that can pose a challenge. I bought an air horn earlier in the week. I'm like, what am I going to do if it starts thunder and lightning during the middle of the event? So I bought an air horn, but luckily it hit before the event, and we just delayed it a little bit. But yeah, there's always something new and exciting.
Right, and that's the nice thing about speed golf, opposed to running a regular golf tournament, is that really it only takes a couple hours to get the whole thing in, whereas so you have a little more time to play with. But you're a rules guy. What does happen, or has it happened in a tournament where if you have to suspend play in speed golf? I don't know if I know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know what should happen, and the tricky part would be like blowing a horn like regular golf. I mean, you're used to that through a coach, and getting everyone to stop immediately where they are. You would need to know where they are and where their golf ball is. You can't just mark where the golf ball is and then resume play then, because someone may have just teed off and picked up their clubs and their ball is 260 yards down the fairway.
Right.
And that's a lot different, knowing that they have to run 260 yards versus someone that was 10 feet away from their ball in the middle of the fairway. So you would have to mark a lot of stuff. I know there was a Kentucky event. It was an event that I skipped a number of years back where they had maybe some storms pop up during the event. And we played through rain. Like, rain is not an issue. There's been events in New York, and rain, it really doesn't bother me at all because you're running and sweating. But the dangerous condition thing is a big challenge. And like I said, luckily it happened before the event and no one had started, and then it went out there.
Right. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah. Well, I know I spent 3 nights in the Dallas airport because there were storms in Dallas too. Of course, part of that was my fault, trying to get home that night, going from Springfield the wrong direction to Dallas, and sleeping on the airport floor for 3 nights wasn't really what I was looking for. But hey, it's a kind of a fun story to tell now. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. You may need a couple more years to pass before it's really fun. I remember tuning
True.
into that sounded brutal.
It was pretty brutal. 5 canceled flights, and I think they had 500 canceled flights over a few days. I mean, they shut down the airport for 2 days, so
My gosh.
it was pretty crazy, and just so many humans stranded there. So
Yeah.
um,
Well,
anyway, I
just
got a
wait
lot
till we
of
go to Tokyo. If there's gonna be a lot of humans there.
that. That is true, and we'll get to that in a second too. Let's get down to the basics a little bit.
Sure.
Why do you play speed golf, Garrett? Because people ask me that, and I'm sure you get that question too. Like, why play speed golf? It seems
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I grew up a lifelong golfer since I was a kid and enjoyed playing other sports. Enjoyed sports that involved some running around. Wasn't really a runner until I graduated college, signed up for like a half marathon. But, golf before and we're experiencing this golf resurgence and golf boom. Golf was kind of trending downward. And as a golf course operator, 2014, 2015, I was trying to research different ways to have some alternative golf, at the golf course on off-peak times, whether that's speed golf or fling golf or foot golf or any of those. And I read about speed golf, and it may have been the Virginia event in some PGA magazine. And I'm like, oh, well, this sounds really fun. It could be beneficial. And it sounds really fun as, a recreational runner and golfer. So I tried it a few times, and anything you do the very first time, there's going to be little challenges, and the putting was very tough to putt and chip while your heart rate's through the roof. But
Mhm.
I enjoyed the challenge and pulling off, those crazy cool shots with, like a 9-iron that you take 20 yards off and then hit it high and soft, and you hit a good, lob shot with a pitching wedge around the green by opening it up, and you stretch out a wedge and all that stuff. I enjoyed the challenge. And then, 4 years ago, my daughter was born, and now I've off as just another way to get more golf in, because with a toddler at home, or pre-K uh, uh, daughter, and yeah, I just view it as an easy way to get more golf in. I love regular golf, but I just don't have the time for it. So I may do a little bit of regular golf, but I do a lot more speed golf.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you and I are very similar in that regard. I love that I can get in a lot of golf playing speed golf. I mean, today is a perfect example of I dropped the 3 kids off at school. By the time I got home, it was almost 10 o'clock. I knew I was meeting you at 11, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I've got time to get 9 in. And
Oh
so,
my
I mean, it's
gosh.
a beautiful day. I ran out, I got 9 holes in, and on with the rest of your day, which
That's
um,
awesome.
a day like today, I would, in regular golf, I just wouldn't have time to get 9 holes in today.
Hmm.
So I really like that, and you're right. I think it has actually really helped my regular golf game. And to be honest, that was something I was really fearful of when I first started playing. Because I love golf. I love playing competitively. I still want to play in USGA events. Like I
Yep.
want
Yep.
to still play. And I was pretty fearful that speed golf was going to ruin my regular golf game um, by just speeding everything up. But
Hmm.
it's been quite the opposite. I mean, I'm able to hit a lot of different shots with the same clubs. It gets you thinking creatively. It makes you comfortable with the feeling of being in between clubs, because in speed golf you're always in between clubs.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of benefits, and if there's one thing I'd like people to take away from this speed golf and speed golf story is that, like, it actually can really help your golf game to play this at a more modern pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I encountered that too. And I there are some, being a PGA professional golf course operator, there are some events for people like me to play against other golf course pros. And And, maybe like the, weekday golfer would get maybe the first tee of a scramble or maybe a club championship or something. Like my heart rate gets up there. I get
Mhm.
nervous. Heart rate's
Right,
racing. My hands are shaking. But I know that, oh my gosh, my heart rate's always up there.
right.
Um, you know, it,
Right, it's a familiar feeling
it's
now.
very
Yeah.
familiar. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of things don't bother me as much because when we speed golf, you're sweating some, you've got wet grips, you're sweating. Most of the time I go out and I play with a group of 2 or 3 of us. And so they're putting and chipping at the same time I'm putting. They're running across the hole to go to their putt while I'm putting. So there's a lot of chaos and a lot of stuff going on, and that is totally different from regular golf. So like if people are walking or like shadows moving, well, it doesn't bother me, or cars
Mhm.
making noises. I'm used to all the chaos.
Right. Yeah,
So
absolutely. Awesome. And then as someone that is running a pro shop, as a golf course operator, how would you suggest that a course get started with speed golf? So, how do they become a speed golf friendly course? Because that's another question that we get asked a lot is when do you do this sport where you're not just running into somebody every second of the way?
yeah, I guess, I mean, I think a lot of the times it helps when there's someone in the area that uh, is speed golf interested, speed golf curious, or whatever they call it,
Mhm.
and comes to a golf course with that. Being a golf course, like starting up from scratch, if like the operators aren't like in the fitness or running like space and they don't have a lot of people to draw on or recruit, that could be challenging. But
Mhm.
I get buy-in from the maintenance department. The best times to go would be early in the morning, when there's like no one on the golf course except for the mowers and maintenance staff, or later in the day. But getting maintenance to buy in on it. We're not damaging the golf course; we're fixing it a lot.
Right.
I fix pitch marks all the time, and uh, and if they are mowing a green, like we don't really care. Every Sunday we go out, half the greens will be mowed, the other half won't. They'll still have dew on them or
Right.
water from the sprinklers. We don't care. And they don't mind when we come running up. They know, hey, if they just move to the side, instead of having to wait for a group of 4 regular golfers to take
Right.
12 minutes to play before they can resume their mowing, we're going to be gone in 90 seconds and they can get back to their mowing. So, yeah, I guess, just making sure that, hey, it's just regular golf. We're jogging lightly on the greens. We're not wearing
Mhm.
cleats. We're fixing everything. Um, yeah, a lot of us, we are really traditional golfers. Like,
Right.
a, a lot of us are really like diehard, like golfers that, regular golf, we're not blaring speakers. We're not drinking on the course. We're normally have our clothes tucked in. Like we're traditional golfers that just enjoy playing speed golf. So we're not like a weird fringe group that you have to worry about that much.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think you're right. That it's certainly a sport for the bookends of the day, especially mid-season.
Hmm.
Um, but we find at our course, we can do that in the morning with very, very little disruption. In fact, I would argue that with the exception of maybe the first tee group, no one even knows you're out there. You
Yeah.
don't have to get there any earlier to open up the golf course. I mean, really, all you
No.
need is 20 minutes before the first tee time, and you can rattle people off in every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And by the time that first foursome gets down to the first tee, you don't even know that they're there.
Yeah.
Um, and I would guess too that might be kind of a nice revenue booster for some clubs too that can just get off, let's say 10 players in 20 minutes.
Hmm.
I'm sure at, a discounted rate, but still
Yeah.
um, can be uh, can be a pretty good revenue maker. And as you say, we're not too worried about the maintenance aspect of it. At least our grounds crew here at Rome Country Club, is really, really friendly. And as you say, they know we're coming. We don't bother them. So it's all good. Well, excellent. Well, let's shift gears to the World Championships.
Okay.
So you and I, Garrett, are both proudly representing Team USA in the World Championships.
Yeah.
My gosh, just a few weeks in Japan, which should be really exciting. I know the whole speed golf community, there has been a buzz around this for 2 years. So it's pretty exciting. And I see that you're giving us a little bit of a sneak peek
preview
of some Team USA gear, which I have not seen yet, which looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be part of it. We had some people qualify based on points. I think you can view that speedgolfusa.com and maybe Speedgolf Baby, but there was a point system qualifications for the tournaments this year, and then there were a couple of captains picks, and I think myself and someone else were sort of selected that didn't qualify automatically, and I'm very excited to go. Got to play 2 years ago in Florida, like you, and I think both of us are out to do a little bit better. And it's going to be totally eye-opening. 2 years ago, it was fun in Florida, and hosting, in the States was easier travel-wise, but
Right.
I mean, this is going to be so exciting for many other reasons, going to a place where the language is so different. One of the largest cities in the world, and one of the largest events with 82 people. So,
which is awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
So I went to the Japan Speed Golf Open in 2019.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you had.
And
Was that
it's
the same course?
No, unfortunately, I
Okay.
don't have any inside
Oh,
information. The
okay.
course we played was at the bottom of Mount Fuji, was really,
Oh, that's right.
really hilly.
But sure. Yeah.
To the point where and a lot of the tees were really elevated too. So you would run up to the tee and then you would literally sit on your butt and slide down because you couldn't possibly run down the
Okay.
so it was
Yeah.
pretty wild. But I've had a lot of really cool opportunities and opportunities to travel. That was one of my favorite trips. It really was. It was just, as you say, just so different. And there's such a buzz around speed golf. People know what it is. It was on, I mean, even in 2019, it was on primetime TV on New Year's Eve. They
Wow.
broadcasted it. So people knew you were coming, and it was just really,
so
really cool.
Yeah.
It's a long way though. As you know, you get over there and you don't really know what planet you're on when you get off the plane and walk right into Tokyo. I mean, and we had no idea, as you say, we didn't speak the excuse me, the language at all. And you got your golf bag trying to manage Tokyo with all those people. So getting to the course will be the first of many challenges of the World Championships. But once we get there, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm super excited.
And how's your training going?
It's been all right. So part of this year, so I didn't qualify on points. I think we had 3 events this year on the tour. There's Missouri, and then June was up in New York for the US, and then July, Kentucky. So I hosted the Missouri tournament, and it was first year that I didn't compete in it. In fact, I hadn't started running until about 3 weeks before that. So I've had, since 2022 or 2021, for a number of years, off and on, like foot pain, and I had a toe like moving out of place. So I said, let's just fix it. The whole year is going to be shot. I won't be able to train and do anything speed golf related, but I'm tired of dealing with this. So I had foot surgery in February. Couldn't even walk for 6 or 7 weeks, and then it was walking only, no running. So I basically chalked up this year to being like, hey, I'm gonna miss out on everything, but in the end it'll be better. But it went pretty good, the recovery. So I started actually running consistently maybe mid-June. and training was really, really good. Up until late, training was really, really solid for me. Not my best year of training ever, but I felt like I was getting some fitness back.
Right. Awesome.
Lately, a couple of setbacks, COVID about 12 days ago, and then
Ugh,
my other leg acting up. But the way I look at it, I'm just getting the COVID out of the way, so I'll
that's
be
right. You're
set.
smart. You won't get it on
If
the
you're going to
plane.
be sick during the event or before, so
Right.
that's how dedicated and focused I am. I'm like, I'm going to get COVID now,
You're
so that a
smart.
month. Yes, yeah.
You're
I'm playing
smart.
chess where everyone else is playing checkers. Yeah,
Right. I
but
like it. You're smart. When everybody else gets it on the airplane on the on the
yeah,
way over,
I'm good for another 7, 8, 9 months.
you'll be nice and healthy. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does always seem like it's something though, doesn't it? It's tough
yeah.
to tough to stay healthy like anything else, I
But I
guess.
mean, overall, I'm just very grateful to have a chance to go. And I mean, it might be a little different experience for me versus you, you and some other people in your class. You're, looking to, you know, take first, get the trophy, expectations. And mine, middle of the pack. It's going to be a little different. Going into it, knowing that some people are just, miles ahead as far as speed. Um, so, so I think I won't have too much on my shoulders going into it. But I'm really excited for the chance.
That's awesome. That's a good spot to be too.
Yeah.
And how about in the bag? What's in the bag these days?
Well, so basically kind of the same setup as you. And I didn't really know that you did it till recently, but the driver, 6-iron, 9-iron sandwich putter I've used consistently for about 2 years. It took me a couple of years to finally get the driver in the bag. It used to be 5 wood and
Mhm.
hybrid and 3 wood. And finally, I'm like, I need to hit the driver. I need to hit it well. That's what really, really helps in these events. That being said, I'm still toying with the idea of getting a little crazy at this event, finding a way to shave 6, 7, 8 minutes on time and go with drastically less clubs. So it's kind of a toss up between two different plans. The other plan might be like a fairway wood and an iron or something and try that. But I don't know. I go back and forth. I get a little wishy washy.
I
Yeah.
I know it is tough, and I'm in the same boat as you. As you said, we have very similar setups. I think the only difference is I carry a 52 instead of a sandwich. But
Oh, okay.
you and I are more of the golfers, I would say, than
Yeah.
the
And
putters. I think that's our strength. Um, but I'm in the same boat in that this is the first time where I really feel pressure to be faster. I
hmm,
just and I don't mean that in a conceited way. I just haven't had generally, if I play really good golf, I'm in pretty good shape in a lot of these tournaments. But this field is so good, so competitive that
it's very, very stacked. Yeah.
I feel like
Uh,
I need to shave a few minutes. So I've changed up. I don't know. This is just over the last few weeks. I'm not bringing a bag. I've
is it
got
the silo? I thought
yeah,
I
I've been
heard.
using the
Yeah.
silo.
Okay.
I do think I'm faster with it. I think
Yeah.
I run faster with it. My challenge is the putting. I love the bag because I can put it on my back and putt two-handed,
Yeah.
and feel very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I'm kind of toying with a few different things from one-handed putting to putting it under my armpit.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. It's such a toss up because you certainly want to shave more minutes than you're giving away
Yeah.
by taking it up. So
Yeah. I mean, the women's field, I'm probably as excited about that as the open division. It's probably the strongest women's field they've ever had.
yep,
Um, Most
yeah, no,
competitive. And I mean, looking at some of it, I was with Adam from Speed Golf Baby looking at some power rankings and people's past performances. And it seems like there's a lot of women that are very, very similar in speed.
right,
And there's not really anyone that blows everyone away. So, um, but if you could, be that person that can be considerably faster, that can help a lot. Otherwise, it's down to the golf and The golf part's tough because like golf gives you the biggest payoff, but you can't really guarantee that you are going to play well on any
Exactly.
given day.
That's the
No,
problem.
you can
It's
guarantee like
unpredictable.
generally if you have fitness a week out, you're going to be really fit the day of.
Right.
But if you have your game really honed a week before, that doesn't mean you're going to play well on the day
It's
because
not always
golf,
there.
the,
In fact,
the,
if you play the front nine well, it doesn't always mean that it's there for the back nine.
yeah.
It's
So
pretty crazy. But
it's tricky.
yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity to play Emily Mullard last September.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished
What,
that.
how close was that?
So we were really, really close to the point where we both shot the same golf scores
Okay.
both days. I finished under par the first day. And I came in, I was so confident that I had just one of the best rounds I've ever played at a really difficult course, really hilly,
Mm-hmm.
Tough green complexes. At that course in France, I came in under par, and Emily shot exactly the same score, 71, I think a minute faster, or 40 seconds faster.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
and the next day we did exactly the same thing. We both shot even par, and she was a few seconds faster. So that was a pretty good sample.
Wow.
So yeah, it should be
Well, she
really.
had the home field advantage. So luckily
That's right.
the
I
playing
was
field
tired.
will be fair, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Yep. And Liz
Going to a
McKinnon is
course that no
another
one's
one.
really seen. Although Japan, there was a gal, I'm trying to remember the name, maybe Maguna Hara. She shot, I guess, 70 out there a few years ago. And she's one of the 5 or 6 that are like, so I think home field advantage is going to be really big for this because there's a lot of Japanese players that have played out there a number of times. And then there's a lot of us that don't know it very well. So
Right. Do you have any inkling what the course is like? I don't really, other
I
than talking
don't.
to Chris the other day.
I spent more time researching like tourist stops in Tokyo than
Yeah,
I have the
that's gonna
golf
be my
course.
next question. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know much about the course as well. I've heard it's pretty hilly, but again, that's just kind of hearsay, and that's kind of a relative term as well. So
yeah, I don't know exactly. The only thing I've done before, I haven't done it recently. I used to do it very thoroughly before events, but go to Google Earth, and you've probably done it too. You map out the course as far as distances, but you can also like kind of hover over a spot and see this is 300 meters. And then the green down here is 250 meters. Okay, drops 50 meters.
right.
But I mean, that's a lot of time. I don't have time.
Right, I know, and when
But
you'll get there anyway.
yeah,
Exactly.
I'll
Well,
see
and
it.
Chris Hundhausen has it mapped on his new platform there,
Okay.
Speed Score. Yeah, and I think it was close to 700 feet of elevation
Okay.
changes, but I guess we'll see when we get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And speaking of Japan, what do you have planned for your trip besides speed golf?
Well, so I'll get there Sunday night. I guess after sunsets because it sets so early. About 6 p.m. Sunday night, the 10th. So I'm gonna stay in Tokyo on my own, or maybe there'll be other people there doing the same thing. But I'll have all day Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna be a tourist and see stuff. And then Wednesday, I'll make my way over for practice rounds and dinner and stuff. And yeah, trying to narrow it down. I mean, 2 full days and a city as big as Tokyo with all the history and culture, and it's very, very tough to choose. So
Right.
there's some really fun towers I'm gonna go in, and maybe a tiny bit of shopping, I guess, some parks, some places where they've hosted the Olympic Games before. I may check those out. So yeah, try to cram it in. What about you? What you getting in?
Speed touring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I per usual have a little bit of a speed trip to Japan if there is one, just with the kiddos. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wes
You
is
getting
very
in?
kindly giving up his opportunity to go to Japan for me to go,
Yeah.
which is really really nice. So yeah, I think I'm flying in Monday, and yeah, probably one half day worth of stuff before heading to the course. I'm hooking up with some of the women from Europe.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we'll kind of head to the course and then practice round, play. And I do think there's a few things to do kind of around as well. And that's another nice thing about speed golf, right? I mean, if you're playing in a regular golf tournament, you don't get to see anything. But in speed golf, you're usually done in the morning and you have the whole day to just go do something.
Except for the partner deal. So that may eat up some of the time, but yeah, it is nice with these events how you get all the extra time to do stuff. I mean, this really isn't like a family trip. A lot of the trips within the States, you know, we take our families and we play the event and we're done at 10:15 and we got all day to spend time with family. So
and see something new. Very neat. Awesome. Well, thanks, Garrett. So last question for you.
Sure. Okay.
What's your prediction for the World Championship? Who's going to be holding up the trophy after 36 holes?
Okay. Oh, I was going to get awkward, Lauren. I'm just kidding.
You don't even have to talk about my gender, but just overall, who's the world champ going to be?
I think if you follow speed golf, you know who Jamie Reed is. I think that would be a big storyline if he's not the champ. I witnessing Luke Willett come down to Missouri and handle that course pretty easily, and the U.S. champs. I think Luke Willett. I'd say Luke is my pick. Jamie's the easy pick, but I like what Luke's doing this year. I think it's a really special year. And also big storylines for the week. I think we are going to have multiple rounds under par. Looking at some of the history of this course, I think, and the caliber of players in it, and the men's, the women's, and the senior division with Joe and Steve, I think there's going to be multiple rounds under par, which is going to be just an amazing storyline. So
very cool. Love it. Awesome. Well, Garrett, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And thank you for all you do for speed golf, for our sport, and for just being generally awesome.
Thanks, you too. Yeah, we're awesome people, aren't we?
We'll see you in a few weeks.
Okay, sounds great.